かも消化率が非常にいいんですよね。野菜っていうのはですね、細胞壁がこうあってですね、ですけど人間は野菜をとってもですね、生野菜をとってもその細胞壁を壊す酵素っていうのを持っていませんので、
はい、
しっかり野菜を食べたとしても消化率が悪いんです。
ところがですね、このユーグレナっていうのはですね、消化率はですね約 93.1% もあるんですよ。その豊富な栄養素をですね、しっかり体に届けることができるんです。武田のユーグレナ緑の習慣を毎日の食事のプラス一品として皆様のバランスの取れた食習慣を少しでもサポートできればというふうに考えております。
はい、
セルフケアを応援する武田のユーグレナ緑の習慣。今注目を集めているユーグレナに青汁でおなじみの大麦若葉、アシタバ、ケールを厳選してプラス、なんと59種類もの栄養素を手軽にお取りいただけます。1週間お試しセットがなんと1000円、送料無料です。この機会にぜひお試しください。ご注文はフリーダイヤル 0120-952-977 952-977 まで。
MA ヘッドライン。
ミュージックエアおすすめアーティストの最新情報を紹介する MA ヘッドライン。ここでしか見ることのできない貴重なインタビューやライブ映像など、毎回新鮮な音楽情報を皆様にお届けします。
MA ヘッドライン MC の長嶋智彦です。それでは早速今回のゲストをご紹介しましょう。このバンドです。
今回のゲストは元オアシスのアンディ・ベルがギターを務めるシューゲイザーバンドライド。約19年ぶりに再結成を果たし、先日日本で単独公演を行った彼らにインタビューを行いました。今回の再結成についてや発売から25周年を迎えた彼らのファーストアルバム「ノーウェア」について語ります。
さあ今回はイギリスが誇るシューゲイザーバンドライドの登場です。シューゲイザーといえば音楽的にはポップなメロディーと合音ギターが特徴となっているんですけども、そもそもギタリストがエフェクターをいじりながら演奏している姿が靴を見ながら弾いている、靴を見ているということからシューゲイズしているということからこの名前がついたようです。今回はインタビューと一緒に先日の来日公演の様子も合わせてお楽しみください。それでは早速ご覧ください。どうぞ。
Every year, just about every year, we have a meeting, just to get together as friends, talk about some rider business, and every meeting there's always the question of whether we'll play again. And at last year's meeting, the question came up. Everyone was available to do it, and so this was the year we decided to say yes. Simple as that.
I mean, I live in the same city as Loz. Steve and Andy live in London, and we've all seen a lot of each other during this period, so it's quite natural at times. I mean, I've done some shows with Andy in Sweden, some acoustic shows, and with Loz and Andy, and through the years there's always been little bits and pieces where we've just got together and played, and that's always happened. It wasn't kind of like we never saw or heard of each other for 20 years, and then suddenly, so it's, yeah, there's always been those sort of connections going on. Felt very sort of familiar to me. It straight away, it was something that just feels very organic and great again. But at the same time, a little bit surreal because you wonder where the years went between the last time you played and this time you played. But yeah, it felt very natural and just great, basically. Other things that I've done in that time I found quite difficult, sort of solo shows, bits and pieces or whatever, playing with other bands. But I felt very naked doing that, and yeah, it was quite tough because I was always trying to play new material to people as well as a few of the Ride songs. But of course, people really just were kind of much more interested in me and writing all the time. So. when it's just your voice and a guitar or something like this, there's nowhere to hide really. It's hard to. I mean, you know, I did enjoy doing that, but it's. I got to a point where I was just really glad just to plug an electric guitar in and play with a band again. It was kind of, for me, it's a bit kind of like coming home in a way. It just felt very natural and great. That was a pretty amazing show. I felt a little bit overwhelmed at the start for me. I had a heavy night the night before. It might have something to do with it, but yeah, it was quite overwhelming for me at the start of that show. I have to say, it's an incredible place. That venue, that stage, and the sort of mountain. I mean, it's really special. Yeah, so I think Fuji Rock is up there with the world's best festivals. I think so. It was a little bit overwhelming on the first song, but then I got really into it and really enjoyed it. Yeah. Look, I think in general, like last night we played in Osaka, Japanese audience seemed to be getting wilder and wilder. To be honest, I think it's all right. Shoegaze is something that describes a kind of sound, and it's very anyone to me that isn't doing just rock and roll like Foo Fighters or something like that, and is doing something a bit more interesting seems to get the sort of shoegaze tag now. For me, it's okay because it's describing a kind of music. It's not a fashion thing, you know. So therefore, it's just what it is. I think it's just a little bit lazy sometimes, but. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, back in the day, yeah, I mean, I think occasionally, yeah, Steve, I didn't know about My Bloody Valentine until Steve sort of turned us onto it, really. Steve was working in a record shop back then and found some really interesting music, and that was one of them, and yeah, I definitely listened to them. We went to see them live a few times. It's great, yeah.
It was part of what made us join a band and be in a band together was, we all liked listening to the same music, and that was very much the music at the time, My Bloody Valentine, Spacemen 3, Leave Whatever. Yeah. And so, we wanted to make music just like that. So, not just bands at the moment, but that was an important part of it. But there was a lot of influences from. I mean, we were listening to R.E.M., The Smiths, of course Beatles, the Stones, the Byrds, etc.
Yeah.
So yeah, influences were coming from everywhere, but we were very into the music at the time as well.
Yeah, that was the exciting music happening at the time. And it was good to me because when you hear those records, then other records just sounded really normal and kind of a little bit boring, but like it sort of took you somewhere else. You know, some people pushing into different places, you know, with music. And, you know, in the end, that's what we all try and do, you know, whatever that gets called and whatever you try and do, you're trying to make interesting music. There's a lot of music that's gone before, but hopefully you still can do something that's interesting and take people on kind of new journeys a little bit, you know. That's what we try. I mean, to me, that's when we talk about shoegaze and those bands that we've talked about. It wasn't a fashion thing. Britpop to me was a fashion movement. I think the fact that we're playing now on Blush and Mother Day Valentine and those people is because I don't think those bands were fashionable. Like I say, shoegaze was describing a sound. Britpop was a look, a fashion, as well as music. I liked the first Oasis records. I liked some bits and pieces Blur did, but beyond that, I thought most of it was pretty awful, really. I mean, it was a good, I guess the style looked good and everything, but it just did nothing for me, really. You know, there were bands around at that time, like Radiohead, Supergrass. I thought they were great. I didn't see them as part of Britpop, I just thought they were good bands at that time. But yeah, there were a lot of people that were waving the Britpop flag and I thought it was pretty bad. But they looked quite good.
I don't think there was I don't think we went in with any firm plan of how it was going to sound or anything. It just was whatever it was, and we didn't realise at the time that we'd ever, you know, we were making our album. There wasn't any like, this is going to be our first album of many. It was just, you know, we weren't really thinking beyond that. It was a collection of songs that we were playing at gigs. We wrote a few in the studio as well because we were a couple of songs short. So, and it all just came together very naturally and very quickly as well. We were under a very sort of tight schedule, which is also good because I think that it would have been a very different album had we been given limitless amount of money and limitless time to make it. It was very much, you can only spend this amount, you can only be in the studio for this long, so it was quite rushed, but I think that kind of adds to the charm of it as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And again, I just remember it being a good time. It just at the time, it just felt pretty amazing just to be making your album, you know. I mean, it was kind of like, without being too corny, like, you know, the realisation of sort of teenage sort of dreams. You know, you were with your band making your first album, things were going well. It was a great time when you just felt that everything was going up and up, and it was a really exciting period. Yeah, I just loved being in studios and making music like that. It was great. You know, as I said earlier, we just tried the hardest to do something that we felt great about, and you don't know beyond that if that's going to connect with the people, but it connected with us there and then, and I guess time has told us that it has connected with the people, and that's great. I mean, it's very heartening. I'd say there's 3 or 4 to me which are great. You know, I'd say that's definitely one of them. Yeah. You know, also for me, I like Cocteau Twins and people like that, which maybe isn't seen as shoegaze. I don't really know, but I mean, there were a few albums like that, and like we say, the My Bloody Valentine one, which is just that isn't anything for me. I thought it was great. So I think there's a few.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's always Loveless that gets the accolades, but Isn't Anything is a much better album.
Yeah, for me, it's much better. That's what really. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the one that I listened to a lot and was like, wow, and that's what I say when you then listen to other music. Other music suddenly sounded dull after listening to that a lot. But yeah, there was a few special ones at that time, and I think Noah's one of them. Yeah.
Arigato, Tokyo.
It's been talked about, but there's no firm plans or any details. I mean, we did, when we started this whole thing, we thought, well, there's going to be plenty of times to jam around, because we talked, as we said earlier, it's one of our strengths, I think, that will, be plenty of time in sound checks, but the reality has been totally different. We tend to have, I think we're doing so many shows that the schedule is so tight that everything is a rush. You have 10 minutes to sound check because the support band needs to sound check. And so, very quickly, this year has just been about playing the shows, playing them as well as we can. So we haven't really had any time to think about any new material or anything. But we have to go back, do some Christmas shopping, have a rest, see the kids, and and then next year we'll come and we'll get together and decide what we're going to do, if anything.
Yeah, just like to say thank you very much for the great reception. Fuji Rock was incredible for the band, and it's been amazing to be able to come and play Osaka and Tokyo, and you know, let's hope it's not 20 years before we come back and do this again. And just a big thank you. It's been amazing.
MA ヘッドライン、次回もお楽しみに。
ミュージックウェアのルーティン。12月年末恒例、年末といえばやっぱり赤白歌合戦。大物の中の大物たち、出てこいや。ミュージックウェア、それでは白組トップバッターはビートルズ、2番手はやはりローリングストーンズ、さらにクラプトン、プレスリー、ジミヘン、ツェッペリン、マイケルと次から次へと大物が登場。そうそう、派手に行こうぜ年越しは。メタルで年越しライブ一挙。まだまだ強いぞ白組。ここまで来たらプログレ、シナトラ、ザッパまで。おっと、そろそろ除夜の鐘も鳴り始めた。爪はやはりこの人、ジョン・レノン。没後35周年特集。しかし赤組はどうした？赤勝て白勝て、赤勝て白勝て。
Music Air